Hi, Amy here with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings. Gonna do another kind of like thrifted trash to treasure, but it's just one project. I had a lot of comments on how I did this, and so I wanted to do a quick video showing you another one. I'm gonna do another one on the glass. This one was on the cardboard that's on the back of a frame, but I want to show you that you can also do it on glass. So I'm going to do a quick little tutorial just basically showing you how to make your own chalkboard even on glass. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's my frame. See, it's got glass in it, and I'm going to turn this plastic glass into a chalkboard. And the other one that I showed before, it was actually the back, just the back. I just took the back of this picture frame, painted this with a chalkboard paint, and turned it into a chalkboard. But sometimes you don't have that option. Sometimes you have a glass insert. So I'm gonna show you that it does work with the glass as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm out in my garage having some fun today. So first thing you need to do is you have to clean everything. So this is plastic and glass, and so I'm just gonna spray it with some window cleaner. We need to make sure that we have any grease, finger grease, dust, any type of dirt on here. And I haven't been using this frame. I actually had it in a storage box. These I made, these little chalkboards out of the other day, and I got them for 99 cents a piece. So I just thought I'd show you how to make them. And I'm gonna make a collage on my wall, so you know, I may as well, if I'm gonna do it for myself, like I always say, I'm gonna show you as well. Okay, so that's clean. And then we're gonna wanna clean the glass. That's just paper so that you can see. I have paper behind it. Otherwise it's gonna be see-through and you won't see what I'm doing. So I have paper behind it. So I'm just gonna clean. I'm gonna get all of any like price tags, stickers. You gotta be careful when you're doing this, you don't break your glass and cut yourself. This is not a project with kids, unless it's plastic, then that's fine. But the glass is can be kind of sharp and you take the risk of breaking it. This is just for home decor. This is not for putting in a kid's playroom, because like I said, it's glass. Okay, so I cleaned it, got all the grease off of it, and now we're going to prep it for painting. I'm gonna bring the camera down and show you how we do it. We got the glass here, we got the plastic here. The first thing we need to do is make our surfaces paintable, because this is plastic. If you paint it, it's gonna scratch off over time. Glass, same thing, it's gonna scratch off over time. We want the paint to last. So I'm gonna be using dixiebell slick stick to prep my surfaces. This is a bonding primer. It makes any surface that is usually not paintable, slippery, glossy, it makes it a paintable surface. So, and I'm just using a little craft brush because I'm working in such a small area. Get this out of the way. And it sticks right to the surface. You can use this slick stick on bathroom tiles to make them paintable, flooring, your kitchen backsplash. You can also use it on Formica, countertops, basically any surface to make it paintable. And then your paint, believe me, is gonna stick. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to the glass. Paint it on. I've done this, I've painted glass and turned them into chalkboards for so many of my home decor projects, because a lot of times, you know, especially if I'm thrifting something, mirrors are usually not in great condition. They might be discolored, or the picture underneath it is, you know, not attractive, but you don't want to go look for artwork to put in the picture frame. Just turn it into a chalkboard. And you see how easy this is and how quick it is, you're gonna be doing this a lot. Especially if you wanna flip for a profit, you just have to disclose that it is glass. You can't, you know, you have to disclose that this is glass and not a normal chalkboard, because you wouldn't want someone putting it in a child's room. Okay, so I've got these coats on. I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna do one more coat, but I'm gonna let it dry for probably around 2 hours, because I want to make sure it's really dry. I don't want to take any risk of, if you put a second coat on here, especially when I'm talking about the glass. glass is a little bit more temperamental. If you put a second coat on here too early and you have any area underneath that isn't completely dry, you take the risk of that area that's not completely dry peeling up over time. And so I'm gonna let this completely dry, and you're gonna be able to tell, because it's gonna be, you'll be able to tell when it's dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. We'll come back and move on to the next step. Okay, now the first coat has dried. Let's go ahead and put on the second coat. You'll see just how the coverage is on the second coat compared to the first coat. See how nice and white that is now? So I'm just getting that second coat on there. Okay, now that it's dried, I let it sit overnight. I'm going to go ahead, I'm gonna start with the chalkboard first. I'm gonna be making the chalkboard using Dixiebell's Caviar. This is Dixiebell's darkest black color, and it's called Caviar. I put a little bit in a dish. Okay, I'm using just a craft brush, a soft craft brush. And we're just putting on a thin layer. We're gonna do this in thin layers. Usually I can get by with just doing 2 coats. I put the first coat on thin, and then the second coat fills it all in and makes it completely black. Okay, so there's 1 coat. And it will look thin and streaky like this. You don't have to worry, because our second coat will fill that completely in, and it's gonna look nice and black. Now this, I don't want black. So I'm gonna do a fun color. Okay, and I've done a lot of these frames, and the one color I need is I need a beige. So I'm actually gonna use Dixiebell's Putty for this one. It's a nice darker khaki. And I'm using Dixiebell's round large brush. And you're gonna see just how easy it is to put paint on plastic. Especially when you go to the dollar store and you find all these cute plastic frames, and they're plastic and they look plastic. You can easily give them a facelift with just a little bit of paint. And I plan on, after this dries, maybe adding some a transfer from Prima, or I might be adding some dark wax to give it a little bit of age. So even though it's plastic, it doesn't mean you can't customize it. So next time you go to the dollar store, the Goodwill, and you see a gorgeous frame that has lots of details, but it's a cheap plastic and it just looks cheap, but you pay very little for it. You buy it and you paint it and you make it look more expensive and match in the decor of your own home. Okay, so I have full coverage on the frame now. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, and I might need a second coat, but I don't think so. This definitely needs a second coat. So I'll be back when this dries in a couple hours. We'll put the second coat on here, and that will be completely filled in black, and we'll be able to do the next step. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so this is dry, and so is this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply some wax to this, just so that the wax can be soaking in, and I'm gonna do either a white wax on top or a dark wax on top. But you wanna start with a clear wax. Now you can brush on a clear wax, but I like to use, this is Dixiebell's Easy Peasy wax. And it's easy peasy because you spray it on. You don't have to, I'm gonna move this out of the way. You don't have to use a brush. You need to shake it first, and then you spray it on the whole surface. This is gonna seal your chalk paint. So I just put that on there, and I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes, and what that's doing is that's gonna be a protected coating on your paint, so that when I put the wax on it, the wax won't soak into the paint. It's gonna be easy to move my colors around and decorate it the way I want. So I just put a clear wax on there. In about 5 minutes, I'm gonna wipe that off. I accidentally got some wax on this, which I did not want to do, but should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the second coat of black paint on here. And you'll see how it just fills it right in. Of course, as soon as I start doing this, our neighbor starts mowing. See, doesn't that look like a chalkboard already? That second coat just fills it right in and gets rid of all those streaks. Almost done here. This is only gonna take 2 coats. You can do 3 though if you want. So, there we go. This is gonna dry. Look at how black that is. Okay, so let's slide that out of the way. And that's had enough time just to soak in. I'm gonna wipe off the clear wax. Being very gentle. And dixiebell paint doesn't have to be sealed. If you let it cure for 30 days, 28 to 30 days, when it cures, it's nice and tough. So you don't necessarily have to do a top coat. I do a top coat on furniture just to be safe because I don't know how whoever is going to be buying the piece is going to be using it and how gentle they are with the pieces. So I always put a top coat on. And one thing about having dogs is you're always picking dog hair. There we go. Okay, so I love that color. And you can see that right over it with the black. It's gonna be gorgeous. So I think I'm gonna put I'm gonna do some white wax on this. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply the white wax just all around. Just to soften this up a little bit. There's not a lot of details or grooves on this frame that, you know, the wax is gonna pick up, but it still gives a cool finish. Kind of softens it a little bit. Especially if you have that farmhouse look. Applying that right around, put around the edges. I know it looks messy right now, but there's always a messy stage that turns into a beautiful stage. Just putting this around these edges because there's grooves around the edges. I'm being very generous with the wax. And since I put that clear wax down, I have time. If I didn't put that clear wax down, I would need to be wiping this off fairly quickly before it absorbed into the paint and then I couldn't move it. Okay, let me get a clean rag and I'm gonna wipe this back. Okay, I like to use the painter's rags or old t-shirts, they're lint free. Okay, and I'm just going to gently wipe it back and see how it lightens the color, kind of leaves some, I'm not wiping it off aggressively, I'm being very gentle. So I'm leaving some of the white wax behind and kind of streaks. Kind of makes it look beechwoodish. That's a word. Makes it look beachy. Let me put it that way. Okay. Get into that groove there. I don't want to leave too much there because it will take a lot. If you leave too much on, it will take a long time to dry with any wax. But the great thing about the dixiebell wax is, if you decide you don't like it, it's we're one of the only companies where you can just let it dry and paint right over it. Because it's water-based, it doesn't have the solvents and oils that a lot of the waxes out there have. So as soon as it dries, and if I decide, I'm not a fan of the wax, I just paint over it. A lot of other companies, you have to then wipe it down with mineral spirits or you have to sand it. Not with the dixiebell. All you have to do is just let it dry and then you paint over it. But I'm not gonna paint over this because I like this so far. So see how it lightened it up and gave it kind of a beechwood kind of look to it over the black? It's gonna be gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry. That's how I'm gonna leave this. That's how I like it. I can, if I want to, I could add some gray wax on there if you want to see how that looks. Okay. dixiebell also has something called grunge gray. And I'm just gonna use the same wax brush. Grunge gray. And I'll do the same thing. I can gently swipe the gray. I don't know if you can see that very well. You can see the gray. I can gently swipe some gray along here. and really give it that beach feel. Kind of blending that white and that gray together. Oh, I'm liking that. See how that kind of changed it? I'm gonna get underneath the light. Okay, so I'm just adding some of the gray in here. And if I want to lighten that up a little bit, let's go back with the rag and lighten it up by wiping some of it off. Kind of blending it together. Okay, so I use the gray wax and I use white wax. If I wanted to, I could add brown wax on top of that to even more dimension. Use a different chip brush for this, so I can add on some brown and gently, just leaving very gentle streaks. To really make this look like driftwood. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can really see. Okay, hopefully you can see that better, a little bit better. So, see how I'm just very lightly, barely with my hand, I'm just putting some dark brown wax over the gray and the white. Just kind of spreading it around. There is no wrong way to do this. You just kind of put it where you feel it needs more. Everybody does, you know, as much wax as they want. It's all a matter of taste. Oh, I am loving this. Okay, this looks like it's wood. Oh my goodness, I love this. Look at how that looks like wood now. Remember that was black plastic? And now it looks like old beech wood. I love it. Okay, this is done. This part is done right here. I just have to wait for my chalkboard to dry, and then I'll put it all together and you'll get to see how cool it is. Okay, I will be back. Okay, so it's dry. I'm loving this frame. Okay, it's dry, and there's our chalkboard. Okay, and it's gonna fit right inside there. Usually you're gonna let this dry for 24 hours, and you can use like the bistro pens. Actually, you can use the bistro pens, which are like chalk pens. That's kind of when you go into a cafe and you see how they have the specials written. They write it with bistro chalk pens. You can get these at any craft store. You can do that, or you can buy a screen print, a silk screen. Okay, or you can buy a silk screen. I happen to have one here, so I'm gonna put this one on here. But like I said, I probably should be waiting 24 hours, but I'm too excited. Okay, this should fit on here, I'm hoping. Let me see how this is gonna fit on here. Basically says, kitchen closed, this heifer's had it. And yeah, that'll fit in there. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm not waiting the 24 hours because I'm just too excited, but you should wait 24 hours. Let that paint dry completely. Okay, and just so I can take some of the sticky off on this, because this is gonna be too sticky. I'm gonna put it on my shirt. I don't want this to be a strong sticker at all. Okay, I'm going to center this. I'll turn this around so you guys can see it in just a second, but I gotta be able to center it. We'll give it a try. If it's a little bit crooked, then people know it's handmade. Okay, so I'm just gonna use some chalk paste. Now this is not paint, this is paste. This is not paint. You could do paint on a silk screen. You can get silk screen transfers, or you can use a stencil. dixiebell carries stencils. These transfers, they have a lot of transfers at Hobby Lobby. This one happens to be Chalk Couture. And I'm going to just put some chalk paste on here. Chalk paste is temporary, it can be wiped off. Chalk paint is permanent. You would not be able to wipe it off. So you can use either one you want. It just matters whether or not you want it to be permanent or temporary. Okay. Just quickly spreading the chalk paste over the silkscreen. This is how they make t-shirts. You can buy these, they have these at the craft store now. You don't have to be a commercial business to have these. Okay. And you gotta move quickly because you don't want that to dry. Okay, hopefully it didn't bother my paint. It did not. Yes! All right, I'm so excited. Set to the side, I'll wash that later. Okay, look at this cheap little plastic black frame turned into this cute little sign. And it's glass, so if you're selling it, you do have to disclose it's glass. But look at this. That is a chalkboard. And the black now looks like wood. So I'm really excited about how this turned out. Now this is a great, great, inexpensive way to decorate your house. Now I made a whole bunch of these and I'm gonna make a collage on my wall. And the ones I'm gonna show you, I paid 99 cents for them at the thrift store. So let me show you. So this was a cheap little plastic frame. Now remember, you can go to the Goodwill, the dollar store, garage sales, anything. This was 99 cents and it says, but first coffee. That cute, so I did that. That was 99 cents, and that one is a glass frame inside there. It was plastic, and I'm gonna put before pictures of all these frames. I'm gonna put before pictures at the end, and then after pictures right next to them so you can see just the difference it really makes. I made this one. It says, today is a good day for a good day. And then I did this one, home sweet home. I just love it. And I did white, because white really stands out with the black, so I did the white paste. And then, because if I ever want to change it, I can, but at least, you know, white stands out and you can see it very well. Ooh, I don't have anything on this one yet. Okay, I forgot, I didn't put anything in this one. This one actually has no glass in it at all, but look at this. It doesn't have anything in it. I painted the cardboard with the black chalk paint, and then now I can use it like a little chalkboard. So I will use the little chalk pen, and I'm gonna put a message on it. Okay. So I'm gonna put a little message on it. I'll put a little heart. There we go. I just put a little heart in the middle. And I can color it in if I want to. There we go. Let's put a little heart in there. Okay, so lots of different options. And they're all, I get them all. Each one was 99 cents. And I'll insert the pictures in the before pictures. But this one I just painted yellow. I didn't do any details because I wanted the chalkboard to be the highlight of the whole thing. I can go back on another video and I'll embellish all these details on the frame, all those grooves with some wax, but I wanted to show you how to make the chalkboard. So this one was on cardboard, got a little chalkboard. This one was on glass. You watched me do this one. Got a bug crawling on it. Watch me do this one. This is a plastic black frame and this is glass. I love it. Kitchen clothes, this heifer's had it. And I think this one's glass or plastic. It feels like it's glass. I can't remember. So this one, no, this is the one it's like a plastic plexiglass, the cheap plexiglass, and a plastic frame. And look how cute that is. So this is kind of a trash to treasure, thrifted transformation, upcycle option. But just think of what you can do with this. You see these frames all the time. Some are gorgeous frames, but they're made out of cheap plastic. They are have an ugly old picture in them. They have no picture in them, but you can get these at estate sales and garage sales so cheap. And you can turn around and make it into a chalkboard, because chalkboards are expensive. I don't care where you go to buy your chalkboard. Chalkboards are expensive to buy, but not anymore. Okay, well, this is Amy with Fashion Toppings and AJ's Vintage Designs. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.